Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial. Today we're gonna learn query methods. To get things started, I have created a sample project and I'll explain what I have done there. So here I have created a domain which will create a table in the database. The table is user and it has a ID of user ID with the name user ID, and it has the attributes of username, email, first name, last name, date of birth, age, and active, which is a boolean, and also has an address, which is another object in the perspective of object relational mapping. So I have also created a user service, and I'm having a repository for the user, and it extends CRUD repository, and this can be another repository, but for now, since I'm using this for CRUD purposes, I'm using CRUD repository, and I'm using a controller to handle the requests, and I'll use Postman to send the request as well. So you can see I have created a user table, and I have added some dummy data as well, so we can query them. Okay. First, I'll explain what are these query methods. So if you are a Spring user, then you would know there are many ways to talk to the database and query some data from it. So one of them is the query methods, which is introduced by Spring Data. So as the name suggests, query methods are a set of functions that are just like the normal functions in Java. The main difference from a normal function is that query method does not have a function body. In this repository, I have extended the CRUD repository for a reason. In this CRUD repository, you go into the interface. Spring has written some query methods. You can see that we have a save method, we have a save all method, we can find by ID method. I'll explain these methods. What does this method mean and what does it do? Exist by ID and find all, find by ID, count, delete, and so on. So what we are going to do here is we are going to write some set of functions, query methods, so that we can use to query data from the database. So I'll start with the most significant query method, which is find all. But I don't have to use this because since I am extending from the CRUD repository, it is already implemented. So what we can do is we can simply call that method from our service. So I'll return from the repository. Fine. So this will be returning a variable. If you go to this method, see it's returning an iterable. So we don't need this transactional annotation. And inside the controller, I'm calling the service. I'm calling this get all users method. Let's run this. Okay, I'll use Postman to send the request. So I'm sending the localhost. So you can see it's localhost and API user all. Send the request and I'm getting all the 4 users that I have added in the database. So that query method was written by Spring. So let's write our own method. If I want to query all the users that have first name, so I can do that using a query method. There will be a list of users, so I'll say I need a list of user find by first name, and inside the parentheses I have to pass the value of the first name that we need to filter. So we have find. By is used has a delimiter. So Spring can break this function into two sections and query the database. And the first name is the condition. So we can use this in our service. So let's quickly write a method for that. So I'm going to call this method from the controller. So I'll send a sample username, which is Joe, and send, and we are getting a list of users, but there is only one user whose first name is Joe. There are another 4 keywords that we can use apart from find. Those are get, query, read, and stream. If you use query right here, it will do the same thing. You can also use read. So when we use stream, there is a small change. We need to pass a stream of users, and apart from that, inside the service we need to stream this as well. So I'm not going to do that in this tutorial. We need to stream it and append it to a list and pass the list back to the client. So I'm going to use find in all my examples. So you know that you can use get, query, and stream as well. What if we need to filter results by both first name and the last name? So you can use keyword and or to filter out by using 2 columns. So let's say we need a list of users and we need to find by first name and capital N. This should be in camel case all the time, and last name. We are filtering out the results by first name and last name. So if you go to the database, so we'll filter out this one, Brian Runner. So let's pass it from the controller. First name and the last name, that is the mapping that I've used, and send, and I'm getting the user with the first name Brian and the last name Runner. So I can use can remove and we can use or as well. So this time we'll match any user that has first name, his first name, the last name of this last name. So we change the database to, let's say this is another Brian. Let's get back to service, and in the controller I call it so if you send a request to first name or last name, you need to have 2 users, and these 2 users, the first one is Brian Runner, the next one is Brian Todd. So he's selecting users whose first name and the last name is equal to the Brian or Runner. So the next one is between. So this will come handy when we handling dates. So let's say we need to find the users whose date of birth is between 2 given dates. So we need to find ITOP whose date of birth are between date and local date. So this will be returning a list of users as well. I'm fetching all the users whose date of birth is between this start date and the end date. So I am searching for the users whose date of birth is after 1990, 1st of 1990 and December 12th of 2020. So as you can see, if we check for the date of birth, so all of these users should be in the results set. Okay, let's send a video between, and as you can see, we have the user 1, user 2, user 3, and all the users. So that is working. Let's move on to the next one. So next we have the less than keyword. So with this less than keyword, you can use less than, equal, greater than equal keyword. So I'll use less than first. So let's say I'm gonna list of users whose and by age less than. So we need to find the age less than given value. So less than, let's say 50. So I'll change the service. I'm going to check users whose age is less than 50. We can check for the ID. Yeah, we have 3 users whose age is less than 50. So we need to get 3 users. That is our set. So we need to send. It's sending to age less than, and we are getting the result. We have the first one, second one, and the fourth one. So that one is dropped. Now we know how to use less than. So the same thing can be used with find by, and also add find by age less than equal. So that will, so our method less than will not give the users whose age is 50, but if we want data to be equal, we need to use less than equal. So with that, you can also use find by age greater than. Also you can use find by age greater than equal. So as the name suggests, you can understand that it will give the age, the users with the age greater than the given value. So next we are moving on to after and before. So this is also can be very helpful when we deal with dates. So let's say we need to find users whose date of birth is after 2000. So let's say we need a list of users and by date of birth after what, this local date. So let's go to the service. Okay, all set. Let's run this. Are there any users after 2000? Yeah, there is one. You'll be after and set. We have. Likewise, we can use find by OP before as well. So next, null and not null. So what if we need to find a user whose age is not null? So now we have users with the ages provided. Let's add the user. So we have a user with a null age. So we need the users whose age is not null. So I need a list of users. Find by age not null. We don't need to provide any parameter there because it doesn't expect. So we have it and send it age. Sending, and we are getting 1, 2, 3, and 4, no 5. So what if we need to find the users with the age being null? Just use method as find by age null. Also we can add the keyword is to make it more readable. So it will be like find by age is null, or you can use find by age is not. So both will work the same. The is word keyword will add some readability to the function. Right. Next we have ending with and starting with and containing. So we can go back to the first name. Let's say we know users. We need to find users whose first name containing string value. So I'm going to find users whose first name contains this string value. So I'll hit the service method send it. And we have two users, one with Peter and the other with Peter. Okay, cool. So we have that one working. We can also use starting with and ending with keywords like this. Find by first name, starting, and also we can use find by first name, ending with. So that is the story of containing, starting it and ending it. So let's move on to ordering. So let's say we need to order the users by their age in the descending order. So we can write query method for that as well. We need the users find by. We need to use the keyword order by. So now the method name will be like something not readable, but it is the way it is. We need to use by to separate the keywords. So find by, order by, age in the descending order. So we do not have to pass any parameters. So what this will do is it will query all the users and it will order the users by the age in the descending order. So the top one will be the user with the maximum age. So also we can use ascending order as well. So it will be like find by, order by, age, ascending order. Right. So let's use this. Let's send. And the first one is age 66, 34, 28, 22, and at last we have the now. So we have it. Let's use the keyword not. So let's say we need to find the users whose first name is not Peter. So we need a list of users. Find by first name not. Might pass a string value. So find by first name which is not this value. Let's say whose name is not Peter. Send it, and we are getting results, and it should not contain Pete. We have Peter, not Pete. So now we know how to use not keyword as well. Let's say, so in the find by first name not, it is using only one value. So let's say we need to use a collection of names and we need to find the users whose name is in that collection of names. So we can do it by same way. We need a list of users, find by first name in. We can use the keyword in, and for this we need to pass a collection, let's say collection of strings. Whenever the user name, the first name is inside this list, it will be queried, right? So the user, so we add another service method. We need, so the results should be Peter, Pete and John. There should be 3 objects in the result. So let's send, and we have the result. We have Peter, we have Pete, and we have only 3 results. Apart from that, what if we need to find the users whose name is not in this collection? So we can use not in front of in. So it will be like find by first name not in. Then the parameter will be a collection. Also we can deal with boolean values. So we have an attribute named as active which contains a boolean value. So let's find out who's active. So we need a list of users. Find by active true. Find me the users whose active status is true. And the other side of this is find by active false. For now we'll be using true. So let's add the service methods. I need active users. So in the database we have 4 active users. There should not be P in the results set. Let's say send. We have 1, 2, 4. We don't have P, and we have 4 results in the results. So let's move on to limiting the query results. So for the limiting purposes, Spring Data has provided two keywords, first and top. This first keyword or top keyword both does the same thing to limit the results. So let's say we need the user and find first by order by page descending. So what do we have here? So we have find the first user, the query, and order by when the query is ordered by age in the descending order. So what this query will do is will give us the user with the maximum age. Let's find out. We need first user, send it, and we have the user with the maximum age of 66. Spring Data also support to limit data by value. So how do you use a value inside this query method? Now we need a list of users. List should be exactly 2 users. So I need to find first 2 users by order by age in the descending order. So what I need here is I need the first 2 users in your order by age, the descending order. Now I need the first 2 users, so it will be the maximum aged user and the next user whose age is just below 66. So I'll send the request and I have 2 users. Likewise, you can change this number. So if you don't use 2 here, it will be considered as 1 by default by Spring. You can use 2 any value in after the first keyword. So the same thing can be done by using the keyword top as well. So I can use find top by order by age, or I can also use find top n by order by age ascending. So likewise, we can use both top and first keywords to do the same thing. Next, we are going to the final query method, and this query method type is known as property expressions, right? So as you can see, we have an embedded object inside our user object. So how can we query the user address? So let's say we need to query the users whose zip code is 12345. So how can we do that? So we need to find out the list of users. We need to find by address. After that, we can use the sub attribute inside that. So we need to find the zip code, and as I can remember, it is along. Yes, I'm going to find the users whose address zip code is equal to this value. So let's find out whether this is working. So zip code, and we have the result, user with the zip code. So how does this work? So when we use something like this, Spring will break this query method by using the camel. That means it will break the function by from this position first, and it will see that there is no entity named address zip. So it will break the method from this position, and it will find that there is an entity with address, and inside that address we will find the zip code attribute. So this works fine until we have something like this. Let's say we have a string with the name address zip. Let's add the getters and setters. Now we have another field which is a string not related to the address, something named address zip. So let's try to run this and let's watch the console. We are getting an error. So let's see what is the error. You go to the end of this right here. No property code found for type string traversed path user.address zip. As I said before, inside this user repository, this method is being compiled, and first Spring will break this method by the position in between zip and the code. then it will find the property which we defined right now, which is address zip. And so now we have the attribute named address zip. Then it will search for a code inside that address zip, and it will find that it is a string and it doesn't have a code inside it. So Spring will give this error. How do you overcome that? Just add an underscore in between this zip code there. So Spring will know now we are referring to an object with name address, and we are searching for an attribute named zip code, and it will not mess things up. Inside the user we have to change, and we have the code now. Yes, as expected. Let's get this and send. We have the user with the zip code 12345. This will be null because we didn't add any value to that. That's it for querying from the database. And apart from this, we can also use exist keyword, which returns a boolean. So we can use exists by age greater than and value. So this query method will check whether there are any users whose age is greater than the given value. So let's do the other things as well. Also, we can use count and use count all by, or you can use count by, and we can add this all keyword to increase the readability as well. So count all by age given value. And also we can use delete as save as well. So I'm not going to do that because it is already implemented inside the current repository. See, it is already implemented. The last two methods, exist by and count all. Set services. We have the two methods ready. So now we are going to find whether there are any users whose age is greater than 50, and this will return a boolean value. Send and true. Yes, there are. And let's count the users whose age is greater than 30, and there should be 2. Yes, that's how you use Spring Data JPA query methods in your Spring application. So all these codes are in GitHub, and the link is in the description. If you have any issues, just comment it down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And that's all about Spring Data JPA query methods. And thank you for watching, and have a nice day.